Morning, everybody. How's it going? Just finished some night patrols. Nothing too crazy happened. Saw a few civilians doing their own thing. When I noticed the night, just gonna do this number because this thing's pretty effective. So anyway, yeah, was doing night patrols. I guess this is a little bit of story time, because some people, because I'm about to upload this to a lot of different areas, but basically, one night, what's going on? I was like, well, a lot. There's a myriad of reasons why me doing this happened. It's called cause and effect. And cause and effect can be quite never ending, eternal in some ways, at least in our perspective, because there's no beginning or end. Even your birth. You don't remember your birth. Shut up, Terrence. Anyway, the thing about it is that at the end of the day, you started at one point and you just realized you were here. But you had already been told quite a bit, even though you didn't understand much. So it's kind of like you kind of got eased into existence. Your mom, dad, whoever was raising you. That was kind of how it works for everybody. Eventually, you start thinking of your own things and you make your own idea of what you want to do with yourself. Go out and do it. Now I'm not going to get into all that nitty-gritty. A lot of my story starts off easy. I was born, whatever, blah. Now, the reason why this is a little different. Now, I remember as a kid, I used to always trust the police. I used to always believe that they were kind of like heroes who get paid to do just that, protect and serve. Always was the biggest thing that I loved the most. I loved I loved firefighters because I thought they were cool. I loved police officers because I thought they were cool. I didn't like the military because I didn't like the idea that the point of the job was to kill people. But then I joined the Marine Corps and became a grunt anyway, but there was a myriad of reasons separate from the police necessarily in a way. But there's one day I won't really be able to forget because there was so many events that came with it. But I'm only going to talk about the primary ones because we're at the 3-minute mark. Probably like 5%, 30% of you are still listening. Anyway, it was odd because pretty much I wasn't the kind of kid that would watch you get beat up. I was the kind of kid, if I saw someone getting beat up, I'd jump in and I'd stop the fight. Because if they're clearly not fighting back, or if you're outnumbered, it's just not right, period. And when you're kids, it's understandable enough. Like, okay, something clearly went wrong here. That's fine. I stopped the fight, and oddly enough, a police officer did intervene. Granted, I didn't get in any kind of trouble because it was very clear what I was doing. It was the guy who was beating up the other kid who got in trouble. And it was a whole debacle. I'm not going to get on that because it's not entirely my business. Basically, though, I was thanked for intervening and trying to help out. And it did make me feel a little warm and fuzzy that, person in uniform, woman in uniform was so kindly as to, tell me that I was doing the right thing. And for a kid with ADHD and autism like me, that was just nice. It was like, oh, I just didn't like the guy beating him up so much. It was mean, because I got bullied relentlessly. When you start off with ADHD and autism, you don't start off cool and ready to go. You start off weird, awkward. Your facial expressions are way off compared to everybody else's. You don't understand some things that are very basic, like sarcasm. It took me years to figure out sarcasm. Aside from that, though, it was a nice event. Even though it wasn't good reasons, it was nice that kind of acknowledgement was rare for me. So I was happy for a while. And then Christmas rolled by. Not sure the difference in time, because that's where things get fuzzy for details. But Christmas came around, and I remembered I was so happy. I had my laptop. I had Mass Effect on PC. I had not figured out how PC games worked on disc when it came down to laptops. So I was completely like lost. I didn't even know if I had the right kind of laptop for Mass Effect at that time. It was a pretty starky game for the time, but remember mom and me and everybody in the house was just like, oh yeah, let's go to the store. We have some things we have to pick up. You guys want to come to the store? It's like, yeah, everybody was just happy that it was almost Christmas. Christmas tree was up. Everything was just perfect. We left. We came back. Door was wide open. And we all knew what kind of neighborhood we lived in. So, trust me, no one forgot to lock the door. We weren't the kind of neighborhood that keeps our doors unlocked or our cars unlocked. That wasn't a thing. No one did that. But you know what they did do? They donkey kicked our door right on open because our door might as well have been, well, paper compared to their foot. So, they kicked the door open, and obviously everything in the apartment was gone by the time we got back. By the time we got back, door swings open and shrapnel all over the place because the door is basically nothing. And we tried to just look around and see what exactly happened. My laptop was obviously gone, and oddly enough, Mass Effect was still there, but the case was literally broken open, and the code for the game was taken. Not the game itself, but the code. In my brain, as a kid, and again, I was just like, what happened? Where's my things? Mom obviously called the police. Police came. I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic. I was happy. I was just like, oh great, they're here. They're gonna help us. We need this right now. I need my Mass Effect back. And I did everything I could to explain, because I had done a lot of research on the police I was doing a lot of research at that time as a kid. No one really knew how much research I was actually doing behind closed doors. And it became very apparent to me midway through me trying to explain all of what I saw, because I thought, as long as I explain everything, this will give them enough information to find my Mass Effect codes, because I need it. I was more worried about the Mass Effect codes than I was everything else. Even the laptop, I was like, I only want the laptop back so I can play some Mass Effect. I really want to play. Like, I never got to play a full game of Mass Effect. That was the only thing that running my mind. Oh, but basically, they were chuckling at me. They were laughing. They were enjoying the little black boy running around his apartment, telling them about, there's pieces of wood here. There's pieces of stuff here. It was clear that they didn't really look around. They knew where everything was. Like, I was like trying my best to be a detective on this, because I didn't know what kind of procedure, but all I knew was the more information, the better. They laughed. They chuckled. They said, don't worry. What did they do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They said, we'll put a report in and we'll get back to you if we figure out anything. We figured out things because the people who robbed us at least had some level of association with one of the people in the homes. Obviously not me. Because my sister reported to me that she found a few people walking around with very similar items that we used to have in our apartment. Oddly too similar for it to just be coincidental given the time frame. And it was clear as day we weren't going to get any kind of help. Our black family could never get any true help from the police force. If only the story ended there. And honestly, we about to hit 10-minute mark here. I guess we could call this just a little origin story. We can say that's the first lick of the police truly showing how little they care about civilians. I guess me playing Mass Effect meant nothing as long as you were there to say something and then leave. Maybe write a little thing on the paperwork saying, African American family robbed. Another Tuesday. Oh yeah, Merry Christmas. Thanks. From childhood me that really believed in you. And trust me, older me despises every aspect of the systems that not only provide and benefit you and you alone compared to the numerous civilians who definitely need better protection against police, the system, information being hidden from people to the point where society itself is heading a detrimental turn. And when I see the police, I see chuckles. They don't seem like they're really concerned. But when they have to deal with a civilian, though, they seem like they're really, well, ready to play a little bit. I'll get on the other things that happen. I already touched up a little bit on things, but trust me, my history with the police is anything but constant disrespect, negligence on every front, and of course, the utter and complete lack of integrity. None whatsoever. Because they thought it would be, and I'm not going to get on into this story, but they tried to say I wasn't a Marine. You should never try to say that my time in service didn't exist. You might piss me off beyond anything else by saying you have no idea what I went through. Anyway, guys, attorney out.